So for This Is Happening, the photo was actually taken by a guy called Reuven Wijesoria, and he's been a bit of a constant collaborator with James Murphy and his record label DFA over the years. And he was actually invited out to the mansion
in LA,
all the way in LA, to take some press shots and, quote, bring my weirdness. I mean, I've only seen a bit of footage from the mansion, but he probably found plenty of weirdness there already, I would imagine.
It's kind of like got Midsommar vibes, isn't it?
Yeah. So, you know, to prepare for these press shots, there's like footage of Murphy like getting dressed up in a suit and a tie and basically walking around Hollywood Hills barefoot with a glass of red wine and like these weird sunglasses on.
Of course.
So, yeah, as you do. Anyway, the photo, you know, it kind of channels Robert Longo's Men in Cities, which is a series of graphite and charcoal drawings of smartly dressed men and women in like contorted, strange poses. And the other 70s reference as well is Bowie's Lodger cover. And according to Reuven, these kind of references were less deliberate and more just kind of unavoidable for the kind of thing that Murphy and he wanted to try and accomplish.
Yeah.
Despite taking the press shots at the mansion, the This Is Happening cover was actually taken in Reuven's studio back in New York. So there is still
That's kind of appropriate, yeah.
There is still a little bit of New York peppered on the album. And I think because the final photo was taken in the studio, it's a little bit cleaner, it's a little less experimental, you know, let's say, than some of the shots in LA when they'd sunk a few beers. And Reuven has also referenced how it's more referential to the album as a whole, as well as Murphy's state of being after having just completed the recording. So he said, you see, James is a bit turned around, not knowing which side is up, yet still confident and moving forward.
Nice.
Jamie, how are you feeling? Are you feeling confident about This Is Happening getting into our nightclub?
I mean, it would be a pretty cruel irony if LCD Soundsystem, of all the artists we've covered this series, didn't get into the Album Cover Nightclub at any level, given what LCD Soundsystem represent. So, yes, I think it's definitely getting in. The question is obviously what tier. I think it's fair to say that this album isn't GOAT. So, for me, it's between In on the Door and VIP. I love the portrait of James. I think it's interesting that this is the album he chose to put himself on the cover for, which I think is interesting. And that makes the sense to me somehow in forms of the progression of their albums. That said, I think I'm going In on the Door, but very much welcomed in. Kind of like there aren't any questions asked. It's not kind of like looking over your ticket, looking at the ID.
Oh, you're a bit old, mate. Get lost.
Yeah, what are we saying here? It's, oh, ticket, come on in, have a good time, get yourself in there. I mean, that's how I see it. What do you think?
So, I think their debut is easily their best cover. If we were looking at that, I think that would be VIP.
It's the iconic disco ball, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think if you had to condense into a single photo what LCD Soundsystem means to me, I think that cover pretty much nails it, as well as being pretty iconic. I'm kind of like you. I don't mind This Is Happening. I like the harmony between the music and the artwork, as you say, and obviously with having James on the front. And it is kind of iconic because of what it's come to represent, this final album that never was.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I'm not that fussed about the photo itself. I think in the name of, you know, finishing the series, want to finish on a high.
Yeah.
Let's say In on the Door.
So you were considering kind of like names up, down, not coming in? Because I think that would be way too harsh.
That would be too harsh. But I think In on the Door is probably fair for this album cover.